What's happening, YouTube? Cowboy here, and welcome back to another Hero Strategy Showcase, and today we are introducing you to the StarCraft medic, Lieutenant Morales. So the medic makes a very powerful entrance, in my opinion, into the current healing scene of the game, because up until now, a lot of the healers we know of have high cooldown, high healing abilities. You know, in terms of heroics, you have stuff like Divine Palm, Ancestral Healing, with Uther and Tyrande, for example. You know, Holy Light, big heals, but 12-second cooldown. Light of a Loon, 8-second cooldown, and you know, you have to be very careful about managing those cooldowns to keep your team alive. And Morales kind of breaks that meta because she has very powerful healing that's very fast and has no cooldown. When you add in her damage mitigation and area displacement as well, you get one hell of a very solid support. So to go through our abilities briefly, first up we have Healing Beam. Pretty straightforward. You keep this on a target, and as long as they are within range of the beam, they will be healed up. If they are at full health, the beam can stay on them, though it will not cost mana. Moving on from there, we have Safeguard. Relatively straightforward, 25% damage resistance for 3 seconds. In general, I would suggest putting this out when you see someone's about to get stunned, or when they do get stunned, to help mitigate some of the incoming damage. Down from there, we have Displacement Grenade. In a sense, it's like Tyrael's Grenade, but a little bit more knockback focused and not so much on damage. And this is really your only escape mechanism. If you're being chased, you can shoot this backwards, hopefully knocking the enemies far enough away that you can get your escape. With a little bit proper play, you can actually shoot it in front of enemies, knocking them back towards your team to help secure kills as well. As for our trait, we have Caduceus Reactor. Awesome ability. Basically, if we haven't taken damage for 4 seconds, we just constantly regenerate health. And this is what makes Morales such a very important positional support. She very much is akin to a babysitter in a sense. She's going to just kind of stick behind a hero, and that'll keep her health up as well as keeping their health up, as long as she's not getting hit. As for heroics, we have 2 choices, both very powerful, just depending on the right situation. The first being Stim Drone. Grant an allied hero 75% attack speed and 25% movement speed for 10 seconds. As you guys can already imagine, on heroes like Raynor, Butcher, and Illidan, this is absolutely devastating, turning them into gods on the battlefield and allowing them to slaughter the opposition. Some other targets it works well with. I have seen some people using it with Tychus. I'm not a big fan of auto-attack Tychus. I think it works very well with Hammer. A sieged Hammer that gets Stim Drone can absolutely devastate towers and teams that try to approach her. All that being said, in general, I will only pick Stim Drone if I'm playing with somebody that picks one of those heroes, and it's somebody that I know, because nothing is worse than Stim Droning someone you don't know, and then watching them just kind of completely wasted as they run around and not understand what's going on. The other heroic, however, I'm a big fan of, and that is Medivac Dropship. Now this gives you near global map presence for you and your team. You can hearth on back and pick up people that have died, bringing them back to the fray. You can jump over to bosses, jump over to merc camps, jump over to gank a hero that you see that's alone. All in all, an incredibly powerful utility heroic, and in the right hands, it is easily a game changer. So we're going to switch up to the sexy Apothecary skin that I love, and we're going to run through our talent build real fast. As always, this is just a general build to go to, but there are going to be variations depending on team comp and the situation. But at 4, we go Trauma Trigger, or 1 Trauma Trigger, 4 Bioshield, 7 Clear, 10 Medivac Dropship, 13 Couples Therapy, 16 Shield Sequencer, and 20 Caduceus Reactor 2.0. Now a couple of the big alternatives here are at level 7. Obviously you have Cooldown Mule here, and you have Cleanse. Both of these being very powerful in the right situation. It really just depends on the map. On something like Haunted Mines, as you guys already know, having the ability to call down that Mule can be extremely beneficial. At the same time, if you're up against a very heavy CC comp, having the Cleanse can be very beneficial. If I don't need to cover either of those areas, though, I will usually end up going with Clear, giving me a nice amount of knockback on my grenade to help secure my survivability. The new loading screen, as you may notice here, super fucking awesome. Absolutely love it. You can see who you're up against. Interesting team to fight here with the Nova Sylvanas Tyrande. Very, very powerful nuke combination there. And before the match starts, one thing I do want to mention is that I do have a throat infection right now. I ended up coming down with a case of strep, so it's a little bit harder to talk than normal. I've been getting pumped full of ibuprofen and antibiotics and tea with some honey, so I'm doing okay. But in the event that I need to clear my throat or something, I'll just mute the mic real fast so you hear a little click like this. And then we should be right back where we are. But either way, Infernal Shrine is one of my favorite maps. Really solid team for it too. Vala has some AoE, Vikings, absolutely devastating soak potential on here. And on top of that, Vikings, Sonya, and Diablo are all rank 1 Hero League players, so we should have a very competent team. I'm hoping it won't be a complete blowout. The first match that I tried to record with Morales was such a blowout that I decided to discard it. We ended up being done within 10 minutes. So a level 13 to level 9 lead. And you know, I can't upload that. I mean, I could, but that doesn't really showcase the potential of the hero. So to go through the talents more in depth, of course, for our first choice here, and I'm going to actually go with Sonya probably, Trauma Trigger. Now the main reason for this is because Morales herself doesn't have a lot of mitigation. So Trauma Trigger gives us the ability to quickly get that mitigation if someone does try to burst us, and that is really going to be invaluable for us, simply because, you know, we don't have anything else. Our only real escape is the Displacement Grenade. You know, we can't use our healing beam on ourselves like other healers can to heal themselves, so having that gives us some nice clutch moment mitigation that can help keep us alive. That being said, Scouting Drone in general, it's usually kind of useless. Feedback Loop, some people like it, but the way I look at it is I feel that in general I'm going to end up spending up my mana with Healing Beam, not usually with Safeguard, making Feedback Loop less and less valuable. As per Prolonged Safeguard, honestly, 1 second really isn't going to make or break a fight, in my experience. So while you could just sit here and just leave the Healing Beam on a target, one thing that I think is important to note, especially early on, is that you have these orbs. And the orbs obviously heal quite a bit. As you can see, that orb almost getting the Sonya topped off. So, you know, don't be afraid to keep Healing Beam off a target and get some orbs in on them. You know, let the orbs do a little bit of healing, and that way you'll maintain a little bit more mana. So it looks like they're doing a very heavy gank style rotation here, which that's fine. It's not necessarily a bad thing at all. One Viking already got popped off. The other Viking is sitting down here trying to soak, and that's good. But no, get off this Viking. You can't have that Viking. Yeah, we don't really have any wave clear of our own, which is a pity.
Our first shrine will be active soon.
That juke.
Steel
That juke was gorgeous.
Heal yourself before you bleed all over my boots.
It is done.
Alright,
Activate
go
the
down,
shrine,
meet up with them.
defeat its guardians, and the Punisher will be ours.
Right away.
Heal up on the big D. Boom! With the grenade. Switch over to Sonya. Keep her healed up. Some mitigation on the big D man. And while you do have very powerful healing, you can actually burn through your mana pretty freaking fast. So it is one thing to keep in mind. I got a minute before I can heal again. Heal up and do what I can here, but really low. Really low. I have like no mana. I'm gonna have to Hearth Helm. So discuss level 4 here. Some couple other choices here. If you're against very heavy auto attack, Advanced Block's a decent choice, giving you 3 charges. In general, I'll usually only pick that up against a Butcher, simply because, you know, Raynor, while he does have very powerful auto attacks, they're so fast they burn through block instantly. And with something like Illidan, same thing, very fast attacks, but in general he doesn't hit hard. And I'd rather have the extra shields that I can get up on a target through Bio Shield. I feel like that's going to be more valuable in the end. So this is going to be close. We might still be able to actually win this here. Now that I went back and got mana, whole team is getting a full. Nope, they are going to win it, unfortunately. That's okay, though. Smash Frozen Punisher. Frozen is like the reject Punisher. Now, the one important thing to mention is with Bioshield, once your target is at full health, Bioshield will continue to heal them up. And yeah, we're gonna pick here. Basically, once the target's at full health, you know, and you put your healing beam on them, the Bioshield will stay on them as long as the healing beam's on them. Just to show you here, you can see. And it's not costing me any mana because she's at full health. but the second she goes out of range, the bioshield is going to fall down. So in general, there's a couple applications here. You can use it to bully targets pretty effectively early on. You know, you can use it to just keep people sustained as they're going into combat. Basically, the higher the health from the target, the more efficiently this is going to work for you. So there is some synergy too. You know, looking at 13, intensive care, getting that extra healing over time is obviously going to keep them topped off and get that shield up sooner, giving you more mitigation if you do decide to go that route. As for other choices, or as for our level 7 choices, I didn't really get to discuss that all. Irradiate in general, I won't go for. I mean, it's not a bad choice to have here, just because of the fact that, you know, we do like that nice little AoE damage. It's kind of like a Burning Rage, but Diablo already has something like that, so I don't think we're going to get as much value out of Irradiate. Call Down, Mew, and Cleanse, as I mentioned, both obviously very, very situational skills that can be high value. Here, Mew might have been worthwhile, but I feel that, you know, with our combat and with the experience we're going to have from the Vikings, there's a really good chance we're going to end up blowing this out and therefore not needing Mule. Cleanse obviously used against high CC teams. The only thing they really have, of course, being the Tyrande stuff, though. We're not going to need that. Clear. I'm curious why we going to go with that. It basically gives us enough of a knockback on our grenade to give us a very solid escape. Prior to that, you know, the escape potential on the grenade is kind of weak, to be honest. That extra knockback, as you can see right there, that helped to secure the kill on the Zebo. On top of that, it gives us enough of a knockback on targets that we can actually, you know, we can actually use it as a very solid escape mechanism. You know, when we hit people, they are going to really get knocked back, and that's good for us. Because it'll allow us to get out, where otherwise we wouldn't have been able to. Get this up on Sonya, get the shield up. You can see how I'm kind of just dancing around very close to Sonya. Get that extra range on the grenade now. That's going to help to clear through these guys as well. See right there, knocking the Zebo back. Pretty good distance there.
Keep it up.
Well done. We have summoned the Arcane Punisher from the
Anybody that wants to go bot, hop on in. Now's the time to go. Let the split push begin, and Tyrande is Dunskies. Easy gangs, easy gangs.
This fort must be destroyed. Here we go.
Medivac and kill us out.
Before the demon's forces. Such
So we got an easy kill. On top of that, they're going to take down this fort. Punisher did some decent damage up there.
the forts of hell have no place here. Killing spree.
Here we go.
So now we're going to hop over to the Merc camp with it. Yeah. Oh, hello there. Did you guys think you were going to do this? I don't think you are. I think this is going to be our Merc camp. Help me! Help me! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, she got me. But they're going to kill her. They're probably going to kill the Tyrande, and they're going to steal the camp. That's definitely going to make it worthwhile, I think. And that's why I love Medivac so much. Like, that mobility, that's absurd, man. Like, just being able to be like, yep, here I come. And, you know, with a 50-second cooldown, you're doing that constantly. So, for our level 13 talent discussion here, a couple choices, you know, similar to how if you're up against heavy auto attack, if you're up against spell users, you could, of course, take Spell Shield here. Let's go take this.
Let's grab a Merc count.
Preventative care, honestly, I don't really think it's worth it. It's basically an imposing presence on your beam, and, you know, it can help, it can, but in testing so far, I've found that usually it's not all that worth it.
Let's grab a Merc count. Ha! Yes.
Reclaim the shrine.
Alright, good.
Show its guardians your resolve.
Dead Raynor.
Such daring.
Oh, I tried to heal him up in time and couldn't get it off.
Move up. Stack.
I'm gonna get Sonya for just a second here.
I've got it. I'll be back soon. Sounds serious.
This is why I love this ability. Look at that, Sonya just spawned. And now Sonya's back to the fight. So, Intensive Care does have some potential, just because, you know, making sure that somebody gets that extra healing can be nice. That being said, I find that usually you're not on a target all that long. You know, especially later on in the game, you're going to be switching targets a lot, so I feel that 3 seconds is kind of overshadowed by some other things. It can work very well. I mean, it does have some strong potential, especially on a comp like this where we have the double tank. You know, there's definite potential there with it. But ultimately, because we have such poor survivability ourselves, that's why I feel that Couples Therapy is going to be the best choice. It's going to give me some healing that I'm going to need. That way, if they're nuking me or they are getting on me, I have something else aside from my Caduceus Reactor. So as for our level 16 tier, pretty straightforward one here. The main reason for Shield Sequencer is having the ability to get 2 cooldowns or 2 safeguards out is obviously huge. So that's double the mitigation basically for free. So pretty straightforward talent choice there. If you're up against a team that has very, very powerful single target nuke, inoculation is a decent choice, boosting up to the 50%. But you know, overall I feel that Shield Sequencer is going to be more valuable for you.
I've got to retreat. I'll be back soon.
System Shock, another one that I played around with, and I really do like the slow that this gives. I feel that that slow can very much so give you basically the extra kill secure that you
Just
need.
relax.
And mana is good. And we're gonna hop on out with Diablo. Regroup the team. But yeah, all in all, I mean, just Shield Sequencer, it's really too good to pass up. I mean, like I said, there are some situations where inoculation or System Shock could come in handy, but being able to double the mitigation in combat, especially against AoE damage, is going to be invaluable. So moving on to the last tier, because we're about to get there. Really straightforward here. Caduceus Reactor 2.0, there's really nothing else I've considered. Some people like Storm Shield, but I mean with this is going to give us a shield that's going to stack up, further increasing our own damage mitigation, and on top of that, with the mana restore we get out of it, we basically never have to leave the field. We have enough mana and enough health gen where we just don't have to leave it all.
Let's grab a merc camp.
This is why I love Medivac so much.
Well done.
Comes in, and away we go.
Defeat the shrine's guard.
What's up, Nova? Where you going, girl? Oh, damn, that Nova was waiting for me. But we are popping them off. Chase the Vala. Sonya getting some heals up here. Man, they're actually doing really well there. I think they can kill her though. They can slaughter this though. Yeah, they did. That worked out very well for them. Now they just gotta worry about Sylvanas. Sylvanas is down. Excellent. Nova's still there. I'll be flying back in a second. Come on, you guys can do it. We're missing too much. Oh, the Nova decided to get greedy, risking her life.
An arcane Punisher joins us in battle.
The doctor is in.
Gotta get a little bit farther for it. It's like not quite global, but close. Managed to cross the map over the Arcane Punisher in a decent amount of time there.
Your spirit is strong. Such daring.
And I think this might be the GG. So now with Caduceus Reactor 2.0, you know, you can see our mana is just sustaining itself. We have the shield up. And that's what really gives us the absurd amount of sustain that we need. Like now we can stay out in the field basically indefinitely. As long as we're not getting hit, that mana is going to keep coming on in. That shield, as you can see, is pretty significant, about 25% of our health worth. That is a solid GG. So overall, really solid match there. Had some really good tanking by our guys up front, but long enough to actually showcase the potential of all the talents. Definitely a good one. So, to look at the stats, wait till you guys see the amount of healing we put out here. 63,000. That is dirty. So once again, just to go through the talent build, Trauma Trigger at level 1, Bioshield at level 4, Clear at level 7, though as I mentioned this tier is very situational, Medivac at level 10 for the absurd mobility, Couples Therapy to help keep good old Morales up, Shield Sequencer for the freebie mitigation, and then Caduceus Reactor 2.0 for the absurd mana gain and stacking shield. Either way, guys, that is going to wrap things up for Lieutenant Morales. Thanks for coming on by. As for tomorrow, there's a good chance we're going to be bringing out Diablo for our daily heroes. Obviously today, this was the episode for daily heroes, even though it was a hero guide. But regardless, we'll see you guys tomorrow with another episode.